I'm Jeff Stilgenbauer, and I work for the Kroger company, and I just wanted to say thank you to Maria for inviting me to your workshop here. And Kroger operates more than 2,600 states across 2,400 states. Yeah, right, 2,600 stores in 34 states. We also operate 37 manufacturing plants, ranging from dairies and bakeries all the way down to pet food manufacturing facilities, which doesn't really apply here. We also have nearly 800 convenience stores. So I was asked to be here to kind of give my viewpoint of WIC, and for the most part, we have a very high value of the WIC program. We consider that customer extremely important. For the most part, the WIC customer is also a SNAP shopper, and for the most part, they have other types of tender that they spend, and even though SNAP dollars and WIC dollars, well, SNAP dollars for sure, and to some respect WIC, those dollars are going down. Those customers are finding other tenders because our loyalty research shows that those households are actually spending more money in our stores, even though they're spending less on WIC and SNAP. So it's a very important customer to us, and we want to provide them with the best shopping experience as we possibly can. That's probably the biggest thing we have, and I think part of that is simplicity, making the experience as simple as possible for the shopper. We've heard examples from Texas, and I'm sure we have them across the board. Some of it's our fault, being the big retailer. Sometimes we don't make it easy on the customer either. We don't tag things properly. Some of our associates, don't handle the sale the way they should. eWIC will help that because, for the most part, the cashier won't even know that they're an eWIC customer, a WIC customer, until the card is scanned and then the extra receipt prints out. So that's probably the biggest thing as far as the shopping experience is concerned that affects Kroger, and I would assume other normal non-A50 retailers. I'd also like to recommend that, I don't know how possible it is because there's some differing opinions out there, but consistency with the food list. The USDA makes this huge recommendation of all these items, and then each state has their opportunity to go in and choose which ones they're going to use. Now, we have a really sophisticated system that we use to identify by state which items are flagged, and then they'll get the proper yellow paint tags or the little W on the tag or whatever that might be, depending on the state. But it would really make the job so much easier if there was, if bulk food, bulk grains or whatever it is, beans, is okay by the USDA, why can't it be just okay? Washington allows it, Oregon doesn't, or vice versa, one or the other. So it makes it very difficult to manage that part of the WIC program. We have one person that's all she does is she just works on making sure that the tags are tagged properly in our system. And 2,600 stores, that she's one busy woman. So that's probably the biggest recommendation that I would have if there is anything. We have had issues recently with the packages changing. For instance, the baby food that went from 4 1/4 to 4 ounces. I see a lot of shaking heads out there. That was a bit of a nightmare for us, and as it obviously was for you guys. We had no idea which ones to tag and which ones not to tag at a certain, overlap point. So we just didn't tag anything, to be honest, because we just didn't know what to do. So, until the, WIC advisors came in and said, okay, this is what you need to do, that we had to wait for that authorization to come through. So flexibility, it was great. Some of the states were really easy to work with on that. They made our job simple. As far as packaging is concerned, I don't know who came up with the idea of combining the plastic baby food containers, now there's this 2 count. And so our cashiers will see 8 units on the script, and they'll scan 8 units. Well, that's all of a sudden 16, and so we've overcharged the state, so then we get a bill back from the state. So that's a little bit of a troublesome thing. So I guess communication and flexibility with the states is a great thing for us. I know that Clyde had mentioned the minimum stocking requirements, particularly on fresh food and vegetables. You know, when you're talking about a store, the average grocery store would agree with Clyde completely. I mean, there's just no way you can run a grocery store and not have 5, 6, 7 or more items of fruits and vegetables. You just can't do it. So it wouldn't bother Kroger at all if that was raised significantly above the, I think right now it's 2 and 2. Some states are 4, some states are 5. But we would certainly wouldn't have any issue at all with that, with the raising of the minimum standard for that. Though I think the other part to that comment is that the smaller format stores, we have some convenience stores that we call them small format, that we are trying to open up the availability in those stores, the different types of items that they have. Right now it's just in the Columbus area, Columbus, Ohio. You guys don't know where Columbus is at. So those stores, you know, we're trying to make sure that they have a higher variety of items that are WIC eligible. So those particular stores, yeah, we would probably have a little bit of an issue with. So, or any convenience store operator would have an issue with that. Other than that, just simplicity, I think, is the biggest thing that as a retailer we would recommend. Just it can be really difficult at times, going, you know, especially whenever you operate in 34 states. We have some divisions, Smith's division, they operate in 5 states. So you can imagine what, you know, they go through trying to figure all that. And plus, I believe there's tribals that have different needs also within those states. So.